Loose Women star Charlene White has responded to a nasty online troll with the perfect comeback. Charlene, 41, replied to the keyboard warrior after they criticized her for presenting the news. The journalist and Loose Women anchor received a tweet that said, "Turn over to Big Bang Theory when I see Charlene White is presenting the news." But keeping dignified, Charlene simply replied, "Bye." Fans have now rallied round Charlene after spotting she had replied to the nasty tweet. One kind follower told her, when somebody has an opinion but decides to tag that person in on a tweet instead of keeping it to themselves, then they only have one agenda: to try and hurt that person's feelings. Twitter is full of trolls. Another wrote, "Seeing Charlene read the news is always a breath of fresh air. Continue to be you and ignore the haters." A third told her, "I watched and listened to you reading the news yesterday afternoon, Charlene, and you made a super job as always. Nice to see you smiling and can see some of your true self and great personality shining through. A lot of news is bad news, but you deal with it superbly. We love you." When did Charlene White join Loose Women? Charlene, who has 2 children, began her career as a local broadcast reporter in 2002. She has since climbed the ranks and now regularly reads the ITV news. In 2020, it was announced that Charlene was also being brought in to replace Andrea McLean on Loose Women. Andrea had anchored the show for 13 years before deciding it was time to bow out. Charlene had already appeared on the panel show several times before being given the permanent role. At the time, fellow Loose Women star Stacey Solomon told her, "I've been waiting to do this show with you for ages because you've been so fantastic every time you've been in." This week, Charlene was left in tears on the show during a discussion about Boris Johnson. The star broke down over the news that the PM had attended a garden party during the May 2020 lockdown. Speaking of her own experience during that time, she said, "My family stuck by the rules. We had to bury family members without even being able to hug each other. I had to sit in a crematorium where my aunt was buried, and because I wasn't living in the same household as my brother and my sister and my dad, in a pew by myself with my baby daughter on my lap as we were all in floods and tears and we can't hug each other."